Hi, I'm Sasha Velour from RuPaul's Drag Race Season 9, and today I'm going to transform my face from raw egg to beautiful painted Fabergé egg with my classic Sasha Velour brow and lip combo. So today you can watch me go from this to this. So the first thing that I always start with is moisturizing and priming my face. I just think it helps the makeup last longer and helps preserve my skin a little bit. But the reality is I am in drag for sometimes like 12 to 15 hours, which probably isn't that good for your skin. And then I just immediately start slathering on my paint stick. Sometimes matching colors is really hard to your skin. There's not like unlimited color options out there, so you do often have to combine different colors to get the right mixture, or just sometimes the club lighting isn't that good. Sometimes you can just settle with an imperfect skin color for drag. Even freshly shaved, there's like a light blue undertone. And I have color corrected my head with like an orange makeup, but most of the time I find it's not necessary if I just go in with this. So I paint a grid on my head, and then I fill it in. Then I will take a beauty blender that is slightly soaked in water and blend all of that in. So much of makeup, especially drag makeup, your face is not just a flat surface unless you're very, very lucky. I have a really heavy brow bone, and doing eyeliner that properly matches those spaces is really tricky, and I had to just try a lot of different things on my face. I'm probably using the beauty blender wrong. I think you're supposed to tap it, but who has time to tap all over their face? I just smear it. Actually, while we were filming the show, Trinity encouraged us to all get faster at painting. And she said, like, you're not gonna like to hear this, but you should time yourself to go as fast as you possibly can. Make it a game, make it a competition. That was actually like the best piece of makeup advice that I've ever gotten. Basically, when I do my contour, I think of it as penciling my entire face, and it's perfect because I haven't set anything with powder, so I can easily like erase it away with this. So the first thing I always do is my nose, and I have a very round nose, and I want to make it pointy and dramatic, like all the female villains of film that I model myself after. So I put like a heavy shadow underneath in a kind of sharp shape to make it look like that's where my nose ends. And then I'm gonna pencil out the fundamental shape of my eye. I have to do like a thick enough black that the line doesn't get lost in this part of my bone. So I try to go up and over it and like continue on to the brow bone with the cat eye. So I'm gonna do my crease actually right below my brow bone. And I can't continue it that far because my actual brow bone is really, really heavy right here. So I kind of found what looks best on me is like a partial crease that kind of fades out, just right there, directly under the brow. I'm trying to sketch the brow in. I like a really, really arched brow. There's nothing as pleasurable as painting on a drag face when you have a completely smooth head. It's like, the makeup just feels like butter compared to when you're covering like textured brow hairs. So I also have pretty intense natural bones right here, and I found if I try to do one of those really swooping big cheeks, it doesn't work because you can still see my actual cheekbone here and then the hollow underneath. My face is kind of currently like, and I try to make it more like, if that makes any sense. Okay, so then I just carve out like a nice dome to the forehead and then fill in. And I try to follow the line of my cat eye back into the forehead. So I bring that contour all the way up. I know it's weird, but I kind of like having a line going through the middle of my head. It just is pleasing to me. It's like painting an Easter egg. A lot of queens carve out this part of their chin and jaw, and I don't. When I see pictures of myself, I used to do it, and then I would see pictures of myself performing, and when I lip sync, I'm like, and I could always see like because your skin shifts when you perform, when you like open your mouth, I would see this like really intense line, like almost like I painted on brown there. It just wasn't working. Just start tapping and blending everything. I think it's good that it has a little makeup on it because it just helps soften everything. And I start with the edges first while it's kind of clean, and then once the sponge gets dirtier, I'll move in to fill in the big spaces. And now I'm gonna go in and do my highlight. And I start my highlight with just Clown White because I am that pale. Tip of the nose that everyone loves to highlight. You basically you paint the light onto yourself. So you paint the shadows in first, and then you paint where you want to be extra bright. And yeah, I paint highlight all the way onto the edges of my nose because I do want to cancel out the little bit of shadow that lives right there, and the shadow from my kind of circular nose that goes onto this spot. And then I'm just gonna paint along this new giant cheekbone that I make for myself. And then I'll take this down onto the upper lip. Then I go in and do the brow shape. Okay, so I think I see enough to set this in powder and to start going in with black and heavier colors. I use 3 to 4 different colors of powder to set my face. And the first thing that I do is just use a nice powder puff and a basic, neutral set color to cover my whole face. And then I go on top of that with darker colors for the contour powder and lighter super white colors for the highlight. I'm gonna try not to make too much of a mess. Of course, I wear all black and this table is all black, so it's gonna look amazing. But I will say I had the cleanest makeup station of all the girls during season 9. I was literally the only person washing my brushes. The only person washing my brushes. Fun story, this powder still has some glitter because Aja decided to do a glitter lip on top of my open jar powder one day. I just take the lid and I put in a darker colored powder. For me, that's an olive color. That would not be a contour color on everyone. And then I mix in a little banana colored powder because I like to transition from the really dark brown upwards a little bit into the super white. So then I just take a really thin edge of my puff and I go in to tap out the contour shape. I just shade kind of from the brow up and over, and then kind of it goes back, and then from here kind of coming up. Basically to make my cheekbone, instead of my cheekbone going from the top of my ear down there, I want my cheekbone to be and then I'm even gonna go in and shade in here. Just cause not everyone needs this, but for me, I have to wrestle with the light hitting my actual brow bone, and so I can use as much kind of contour as I can. And now I'm gonna go in with the slightly lighter color and just fade out the edges of this contour. And sometimes I will take this and I will do a little bit down here, just with this more banana-y color, so it's not, I think sometimes with the white jaw, it looks too strong, or sometimes you can even see a little bit of undertone. So I take this super white highlighting Clown White powder and just trace along those highlight areas. So I am going to blend this all in with a fluffy brush, and then I will get to eyeliner. I always do a gel liner with a brush. I think it's the most precise way to do it, and it lasts. If I had to paint my face with one product, I would need black eyeliner. I'm pretty much just following the contour that I sketched out earlier, and I do think, I like to test it raising my brow and also lowering it, but it's at a pretty safe place where, because it surpasses the natural crease that I have, it's not gonna smear when I blink. And I like to make the edges really, really clean. The tip for clean edges is a clean brush. It's one stage where the talking always stops. And for me, it's always when I do my eyeliner, because it's the most delicate and temperamental part of the face. That was the end of that sentence. There are a lot of different ways to do the inside of your eye. I love the little bird point sharp kind of owl eye. So now the next thing that I do after I do this is I set my brow in place, and I'll use a brown color for the brow. But sometimes I use at least 2 colors, sometimes 3 or 4 colors in my brow, because the way that I like to do it is with lots of little fine hairs, and I think that works best when they're different colors. So I start doing kind of angled hairlines along the brow shape. And I try to make sure that they're a little bit darker on the bottom. My goal has always been to do a different brow than the ubiquitous ombre brow, which I never really liked the look of too much anyways, and then especially because it was like, there was a moment where it was like, if you're not doing an ombre brow, you're not doing drag. I'm gonna go in with a lighter color of brown first, and then I'm gonna go in with a little bit of black to make it super dark. I'm gonna use this especially at the top of the brow, because I do think it looks best when it fades to darker on the bottom, because that's really where the line needs to be defined. This kind of lighter color I'm also gonna put into my crease. And then for me, I found I couldn't really resolve the end of the crease very easily. Some people like to bring it kind of up like this, like some people bring it right down into the liner and then blur up. I found for me the best solution is to kind of just fade it out right around this point where it hits the brow, my brow bone. My brows need a little bit more to my eye, so I'm gonna go in with the black now. And I'm gonna go in and add the center piece of my kind of non-unibrow. It's a nice signature element. And I like for my face to be clearly and dramatically designed in a way that it's recognizable again and again, even in different costumes with different hair. And this to me is a really great way to achieve that. Okay, so I'm gonna go in and color in these areas a little bit. I usually use, sometimes I use browns. I've been really into using purples recently because I think when I study my actual skin in daylight, I see a lot of purple in it, so I think it's a color that complements me the best. And I don't contour that heavily. I like it to look, I don't know, sometimes I say that to people and they're like, that is heavy makeup. But sometimes compared with other drag queens, the lines aren't as dark. I am mixing in that purple with a kind of pink, warm, orangey blush to kind of make it a little softer. And I also add the same color then to the tip of my nose and sometimes even my chin and my forehead, just kind of warm up all those areas. And then I'll use a smaller brush and just dust these parts of the brow bone with that too. And then I dip this smaller brush in the purple and I really shade in the bottom so that the sharpness of the cheekbone really pops. So then sometimes I just leave it nice and open, but today I'm gonna put a little black shadow running from the line underneath there. Something that I do to protect myself, because there's always fallout of the black shadow, is to put some extra powder right here. And then I follow along, not from the actual corner of my eye, but then even up. And I put along, I don't go all the way back in because I want to leave a little openness there. And then I'll take a fluffier brush and I'm actually going with a little pink color and fade out that black into a kind of warm. I'm gonna mascara. So I'm gonna go ahead and put lashes on. I use one pair of human hair 301 lashes. So I'm gonna dip those. I start with the inner bit and I put that on as close as I can to the line. And then I curve this bit up so that it lives way above my actual lash, because I do want it to curve up with my new eyeliner. Maybe they could go higher, but if I put it too much higher, it feels really crazy and uncomfortable and it's hard to blink. I'm gonna do a little bottom lash because I did the dark shadow underneath, so I think that'll look nice. And I do them basically right at the actual lash. Okay, and now that I have this somewhat set, I'm gonna go on to my lips. For my lips, I use 4 products, 2 different liners, a gloss, and then glitter. And then I start painting on this little mustache, little John Waters mustache in red to make the upper part of my lip. I like a nice bow to the lip, and then I like to come down either right where my lips end or a little bit further on the top, which can make them look kind of plump. There's a happy place that I think everyone has of just the right amount of overlining where it looks, it's kind of like the bright part catches what could be a highlight on a larger lip, even though it's actually the edge of your real lip. And if you go too much farther than that, then you end up, you don't see any curve. Also, I'm running out of space in between my lips and my nose. Okay, so now I'm gonna just fill it in all with this kind of bricky red color. Even though I save the lips for the last, I feel like once I have lips on is the moment that I start to see Sasha Velour. I'm gonna go and darken all the edges with a nice purple color. Even though the purple won't really show up in the final color, it's gonna look really red. I do think this contrasting darker color is necessary to really reshape your lips and to like draw on a really beautiful overdrawn lip. And this one I just put on the edges and kind of feather in with light strokes. And then on the inside corners too. That's like a good trick just to make your lips look bigger. So then I'm gonna kind of blend it all together with a red gloss. This gloss kind of seals it in. And I don't put the gloss all the way to the edges. I really just hit mostly the part just outside of my natural lip. I'm going to take a little spray adhesive and some red theatrical glitter. And I will, I spray a little adhesive on first with a little brush, and then I tap that same brush into the glitter and I just apply it. Literally, as long as I'm somewhat careful with my mouth, like I don't eat a giant sandwich, it stays on all night. The amount of glitter that I eat is very large. Well, this is not the clown white. This is just a very light, natural color. And I do the edges of my lips. And then I'm gonna take a little bit and add it into the brow. And then the final step is I use a little like super concentrated shimmer powder and I put that on a couple places. Most important is the tip of my nose. And then coming up slightly along the bridge. And then I'll put a little bit here on the cheekbone as well. So now I have finished with the makeup portion and I'm going to go change into my costume for the final reveal. And the beauty, monster, evil queen look is complete. Be sure to check me out on Instagram at Sasha Velour and also check out my self-published drag magazine, Velour, the drag magazine, at the drag magazine, which charts the artistic creations of drag queens and kings around the country and the world.
Hey, you guys, it's time for a brand new episode of What You Packin', woo! And joining me today is the one and only Sasha Velour.
I'm so excited to be here.
I am so excited to finally talk to you.
My name is Sasha Velour. I am a bald, fashion-y, artistic, weird queen.
So you are a different kind of queen, kind of like somebody we haven't seen before, because I mean, your abstract drag is kind of art in motion. Now we've had a lot of great queens like that. We've had Max, we've had Milk, we've had a lot of great artists along the way like that.
Yeah.
But you're still a little different from them even in my eyes. Had you auditioned for Drag Race before?
I had auditioned the year before.
And that was it?
And that was it. And my drag had changed so much. I'm not
In
even
1
sure if
year?
anyone would recognize me from
Really?
the first tape.
What
Yeah.
changed and why did it change?
I feel like it just gained so many different layers, so many different styles of drag. I like to think that I'm a art queen, but also a theater queen, also a fashion queen. And I think all those just added on as I was able to commit more and more to being a drag queen.
Did you ever doubt your type of drag on our show?
Of course.
How did you get past that to audition?
Honestly, I thought like, what's the harm in trying? And I was shocked that I got on in many ways because I thought that I'm too weird, I'm not like
You are weird.
fun enough, I'm so serious.
No, but we celebrate weirdos because that's what we all are in our own way. That's why we get along so well as a community.
And that's why it was so empowering to be here and to feel that I can contribute to uplifting the part of the drag community that I represent. To stand up and carry on your legacy, Rue, we have to be able to do something new. And the new thing is definitely going to walk in with a scream.
What has it been like for you, this whole process?
Challenging. Mostly though, really, really fun. I think this has been the most fun I've ever had in my entire life.
Really?
Yeah, being pushed to do every kind of thing that I definitely would never have chosen to do in my own drag world. Completely pushed out of my comfort zone and feeling like I had the resources to rise to the occasion. I feel empowered.
Obviously, because you ended up where you ended up. Did you ever feel?
It wasn't not always
No, it's
amazingly.
never easy, ever. That's what's amazing about this
Right.
competition, because so many kids go in and they think, I know what I'm doing. Like, I really know what I'm doing. And then I, in particular, try to throw you off your game because
You're good at that.
Thank you. But that's my job, and I
Yeah.
do want to push you further and push you into places you've never been before. You didn't break under that, and I push hard, but you rose to the occasion for sure.
Thank you.
That's an amazing, amazing feat. And that's why you ended up where you ended up. And if you look around, you could see, oh, I'm not like this one, I'm not like that one. Did that ever make you unsteady, or were you the whole time secure?
I like that. I like being different. I've always gotten power from being different than other people and from being true to myself. And this group of queens is so supportive of different styles of drag. That was also, I think, surprised each and every one of us, that we could form a community. It feels, like I said, it feels like the future of drag, seeing all of us together, working together, having a sisterhood, lifting each other up.
You know, I think when kids say that, the future of drag, I feel like it's kind of, I don't know, meta in a way, because at the end of the day, drag is the future of drag.
Yeah.
You're all the future of drag.
That's true.
This is season 9 of RuPaul's Drag Race. There kind of is no future because you're in it. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
Would you have changed anything if you had to do it all over again?
Well, I've like kind of changed the way I do my eyebrows, and looking back at how I did them on the first episode,
What story are you telling with this unibrow?
I know that I would never do that if I were a cast on Drag Race now. But you know what? I'm really glad that I got to chart kind of a developmental phase as well on the show. You see me start, you know, really firm-headed about being like a crazy, kooky, like graphic face, and transform into something where I felt really gorgeous in my own way.
It really was a journey. You don't get to see a lot of transformative journeys. I mean, we saw it with Jinx.
Yeah.
You know, we see it with some, not a lot. And you quietly, stealthily,
I want to make sure I did it before you yelled at me about it.
because you knew it was coming.
I knew it was gonna come.
And it wouldn't be a yell, it would be like, oh, okay, got it.
Yeah.
What's next? Because it's getting stuck in that box is a really dangerous thing. Not just,
It is, yeah.
I'm talking any box.
Yes.
Where people say that you can't do that because you're that is a dangerous thing for your future.
I mean, to be essentializing about like, this is who I am, when it's such a crazy costume, and the whole point is to unleash freedom for yourself, for your gender, for your beauty, for your fashion. Let's change up.
Tell me about this pretty number over here. This is a vintage piece.
Yeah, it's a vintage piece that a good girlfriend of mine gave me. She wore it, I don't know for what context a straight woman would wear this.
Wedding.
Probably, yeah. And it had like a lining, and I just cut the lining out because I wanted it to be see-through.
Right.
And then I built a matching crown out of pink felt with jewels on it.
Yeah, of course you did, darling, yes. And is a crown, obviously a crown is your thing. Where did it come from? Does it come from the Archies? Does it come from?
It's like a mixture of Jughead and Where the Wild Things Are.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's such like a fantastical and very literal way to indicate that I see myself as royalty.
The winner of RuPaul's Drag Race is Sasha Velour.
Well, darling, I wish you the best luck in the world. You deserve that spot. You worked hard for it, you fought for it. I am so damn proud of you. And I cannot wait to see you out there on the road doing your thing. I'm so
Looking
excited
forward
to
to
see
it.
what, yeah, honestly. Thank you very much, Sasha Velour.
Thank you, Michelle.